Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me for a beach recovery yoga workout. It's been a really windy day on the day that I worked out, so I'm refilming the recording for the voice for you all. So today we're going to be focusing on a recovery workout, meaning that if you have been working out, especially doing a whole body workout, and you're feeling a lot of tense sensations in your legs and your shoulders, this is going to be a great whole body recovery workout video for you. So hope that you're gonna enjoy the beach scene and the calming workout sequence that we're gonna do in the next 20 minutes. And let's get started. We're gonna start in a child's pose position. So kneel on your knees and bring your knees as wide as your mat, or in my case, my towel. Bring your toes together, and then you can sit your hips on top of your heels. Bring your forearms onto the ground and then your forehead onto the ground for a child's pose. We're going to be here for a couple of breaths, so breathe in and breathe out, and then breathe in. And when you breathe out, we're going to go into a plank pose. So just lift your hips up and stack your shoulders on top of your hands. Then lift your left leg up for a three-legged dog position. So this is a really good hip opening position, but we can deepen the stretch a little bit more even by bending our left legs and then stack your left leg on top of your right hip. And your left foot will be falling to your right side. And from here, we're going to step forward that left leg. So your left foot is in between your hands. So we're going to go into an extended low lunge position. And then we're going to go down into a low lunge position by lowering your right knee onto the ground and flip your right foot. And then when you're ready, you can bring your hands up and upper body upright, and make sure that your hips are even, so they're both evenly facing forward. And once you find a grounding, you can bring your hands through your sides to above your head, and your fingertips are pointing towards the sky. You can even engage in a tiny back bend and bring your gaze up to be looking towards the sky. And once you're done, cartwheel your hands onto the ground and lift your back leg again into an extended low lunge once more. And from here, we're going to go into a pyramid pose. So you might want to shorten your stance a little bit by bringing your right foot forward a little bit more. And then you straighten your left leg. So both of your legs are as straight as possible. And if you feel like this is too much stretching already for your hamstring and your shin, just stay here. But if you can deepen your stretch a little bit more, feel free to bring your forehead to be as close to your left leg as possible. Great. We're going to be here for one more breath. So breathe in and breathe out. And when we breathe in, we're going to go back into our extended low lunge position. So we're going to bend our left legs once again, and you might need to extend your stance again by moving your right foot backward a little bit. And then from here, once you feel the grounding, you can lift your upper body up into a high lunge position. So bring your arms through your side bodies to be on top of to be by your ears. And then your hands can be pointing towards the sky. Your fingertips can be pointing towards the sky. All right. And from here, we're going to go into a warrior one. To do that, you just pivot your back foot to a 45-degree angle. So your right foot is facing the top right edge of your mat. All right, and then we're going to open up to a warrior two position. So just by opening up your body to your right side. And your arms should be parallel to the ground, and then you can check your foot positioning. So your left foot should be ideally pointing towards the middle of your right foot, and your right foot is parallel to the short edge of your mat. And once you checked the feet positioning, you can bring your gaze to be looking at your left fingertips. Perfect. So from here, we're going to go into a peaceful warrior. To do that, when you breathe in, lean forward a little bit and then flip your left hand so your left palm is facing the sky. And then you're just going to hinge through your hip to a little back bend to your right side. So your right hand can be supporting you on your right leg, and your left arm will naturally go over your head. And if you feel comfortable, you can bring your gaze up to be looking at the sky. And ideally, everything should be in one plane right now. Okay. And from here, we're gonna go back into a warrior 2 position first. So to do that, we're gonna bring our arms to be parallel to the ground again. And then we're going to go into a triangle pose, which is simply to bring your left leg into a straight leg position. And then you're going to hinge through your hips to lean forward to your left side. So you can bring your left arm to be perpendicular to the ground, and your left hand can be supporting you on your left leg, and your right hand will naturally go above your body, and your right hand will be pointing towards the sky. Okay, let's be here for one more breath. Breathe in and breathe out. And then when you breathe in, we're going to actually go back into hands parallel to the ground. And from there, we're going to go into a warrior 2 position again by bending your left knee again. Perfect. Okay, and from here, we're going to go into a couple more deep hip opening positions on the ground. So let's get there. Let's cartwheel our hands onto the ground to be on either side of our left foot. And then from here, we're going to go back into a 3-legged dog position. So lift your left leg up. And then we're going to go back into the deepened stretch of the 3-legged dog. So bend your left leg. And then let your left leg to be stacked on top of your right hip. So once again, your left foot will be fallen over towards your right side. But from here, we're going to do a little bit more. So only do so if you feel supported. But we're going to let the left leg fall even a little bit more so that the left foot will be on the ground over your right leg. And then your right hand is supporting you on the ground this whole time. And your left hand will naturally lift up, and your left fingertips will be pointing towards the sky. So that was a well thing. And then to come back, we come back into a 3-legged dog with our left legs lifted. And then we're going to go into the famous pigeon pose. So knees to chest, and then knees to our left wrists. So you can lower your left leg onto the floor. And ideally, your shin will be parallel to the short edge of your mat, but then that is a very deep hip opening position. So you might just want to bring your left leg, your left foot to be closer to your right hip, like what I did here. And then your right leg is straightened out on the ground, and your right foot is comfortably laying on the ground as well. And from here, if this is already very sensational, then just stay in this position. But if you want to deepen your stretch a little bit more, you can feel free to bring your upper body close to the ground. So maybe try to lower to your forearms first. And if you feel like this is a lot, just stay in this position. But if you want to go a little bit further, maybe you can even bring your forehead onto the ground. But do it at your own pace. We're going to be here for a couple more breaths. So breathe in. And when you breathe out, we can just come out of this position. And we do that by going back into a downward dog position. Super. And then we're going to do everything on the other side, of course. So from a down dog position, this time you're going to lift your right leg up into a three-legged dog position. So this is already a pretty good hip stretch, but we're going to do the deeper stretch again by bending your right leg and stack your right leg on top of your left hip, and your right foot is falling over your left side of your body. And from here, we're going to go into a low lunge by bringing your right foot to be on the ground in between your hands. Okay, and from here, as we have done before, we're going to go into a low lunge by lowering our back knees onto the ground. And once you're ready and grounded, you can lift your upper body up. Once again, check that your hips are leveled, and then after that, bring your hands through your sides to be on top of your head, and your fingertips can be pointing towards the sky. Feel free to engage in a mini back bend and bring your gaze up a little bit. Okay, and from here, we're going to go into an extended low lunge first by lifting your left leg up. And then from here, we're going to go into a pyramid pose again. So remember, we might need to shorten our stance a little bit. So you might need to move your right leg forward a little. And then you can straighten both of your legs for a really deep hamstring and shin stretch. Super. And if you want to stretch a little bit more, feel free to bring your forehead to be as close to your right leg as possible. Great. And from here, we're going to go back into a warrior two position, which means that we might need to widen our stance a little bit more. So feel free to bring your right foot back a little bit and then bend your left knee to be in this extended low lunge position again. And then we're going to go into a high lunge by lifting our upper bodies straight up and bring your arms through your side bodies to be by your ears, and your hands can be together above your head and your fingertips can be pointing towards the sky. And you can look forward, or if you would like to engage in a little back bend, you can bring your gaze up to the sky a little bit. And from here, we're going to go into a triangle pose, warrior one pose. And to do that, you just need to bring your left foot to be at a 45-degree angle. And then we're going to open to the left side into a warrior two position. Okay, so once again, check your feet positioning. So ideally, your right foot should be pointing towards the middle of your left foot, and your left foot is parallel to the short edge of your mat. Super. And once you're ready, bring your arms to be parallel to the ground. And then you can bring your gaze to your right fingertips. Perfect. And from here, we're going to go into a peaceful warrior. So with one breath in, you're going to lean forward a little bit, right? And then with that, you're going to flip your left hand so that your left palm is facing the sky. And then you're just going to hinge from your hip to do a mini back bend to your left side, opening your right side body. Okay, so your left hand can be supporting you on your left leg, and your right arm will naturally go up over your head. And then if you feel like it, you can bring your gaze up to the sky. Okay, to come out, we just bring our arms to be parallel to the ground again. And from here, we're going to go into a triangle pose. So you might need to shorten your stance a little bit again. And then you can straighten both of your legs and then hinge through your hip joint to your right side. And your right hand can be supporting you by putting your right hand on your ankle, your shin, or on the ground. And then your left arm will naturally move up and your left fingertips will be pointing towards the sky. Okay, and to come out of it, we're gonna bring our arms to be parallel to the ground again. And then we're gonna go back to a warrior two by bending our right knees. And then we can come back to a warrior one by bringing our bodies forward, facing your left knee. And then go back to a low lunge and into a downward facing dog. Okay, and from here, we're gonna do a couple of hip opening positions again. So bring your right leg up again into a three-legged dog, and we're gonna do the bend one more time. So bend your right leg and stack it on top of your left hip. And then your left foot will be on the ground supporting you while your right foot can fall onto the ground as well. And make sure that your left hand has been on the ground supporting you this whole time, and your right arm will automatically go up, and your right fingertips will be pointing towards the sky. Okay, so that was the welt thing. To come out, we go back to a three-legged dog position. And then we're gonna go into a pigeon pose. So knees to chest first. And we're gonna trace that knee to our right wrists. Okay, and then bring your right leg onto the ground. You might want to bring your shin to be parallel to the short edge of the mat, but if that's too much hip stretching for you, then once again, you can bring your right foot to be closer to your left hip. Okay, so check your alignment, and then make sure that your left leg is straight and extended on the floor. Okay, and to deepen your stretch, you can bring your upper body to be supported by your forearms first, and then gradually lower your upper body more and more to the floor if you feel like it. Okay, and to come out, we go back into a three-legged dog, and then we go back into a downward facing dog. So enjoy this moment of stretching and peace for a little bit. From here, we're gonna go into a tabletop position. So lower your knees onto the ground, shoulders on top of your hands. And we're gonna do our spine and shoulder series from here. So we're just gonna make sure that our spine's then warm and flexible by doing a couple of cat and cows. So all you need to do is to arch your back and then round your back. Make sure you're breathing. So breathe in, arch your back, and breathe out, round your back. One more time. Breathe in, arch your back, and then breathe out, round your back. Great, and then go back to a neutral spine position, and then we're gonna do some thread the needles. So to do that, we're gonna lift our right hands up to the sky. So bring your right arm up, bring your right hand to be pointing towards the sky to really open your right shoulder. And then from here, you're gonna want to thread your right arm through this little space between your left arm and your left leg over straight up. So your left arm is straight out through this little archway, and you try to bring your right shoulder onto the ground and rest your head on the floor. Perfect. If you want to deepen your stretch, you can bring your left arm to be on top of your head. Or if you're practicing a bind, you can also bring your left arm to be wrapped around your waist and close to your right hip. Perfect. So no matter where you are, to come out, you just unravel everything and go into a tabletop position. And of course, we're going to do this on the other side as well to open up our left shoulders. So breathe in, bring your left hand up to be pointing towards the sky. open to the left side, and then you twist to thread your left arm through the little archway to your right side. Okay, so your right hand extended straight to your right side, and then you can deepen the stretch by bringing your right arm to be on top of your head. Or if you're practicing a bind, you can bring your right arm to be around your waist, pointing towards your left hip. Super. And to come out, once again, unravel everything and go back into a neutral tabletop position. So this is pretty much the whole recovery beach practice, but we're gonna just end the practice by going back to where we started, which is a child's pose position. So you already know how to get there: knees wide, toes together, hips on your heels, and hands on the floor. So feel free to stay here for as long as your body desires you to. Bring your forehead to the ground to really seal this practice by being in this very restorative child's pose position. Thank you so much for practicing with me. Feel free to come out whenever you feel ready, but I hope that this beach practice has been restorative to you and brings a lot of release to your bodies. Thank you so much, and see you next time. Bye.